The broadcast began without warning. 10 billion human lives, streamed live across the galaxy, and the Galactic Empire watched with satisfaction. Planets crumbled, orbital stations disintegrated, cities vaporized into ash, and yet, in their arrogance, they believed it was complete. Humanity was finished. Admiral Riker Kane sat in the shadows of a commandeered station at the fringe of Orion. The Empire's triumphant music clashed with the screams echoing through the feed, but Riker's lips curled into a grim, almost sadistic smile. "They think it's over," he murmured to the officer beside him, a 60-year-old ex-Marine named Harris. Harris's eyes, sharp and steady, scanned the holoscreen. "Over?" he asked, incredulous. "Over is a word for those who've quit." Riker's hands hovered over the console, fingers twitching like predators ready to strike. "No," he said. "Over is when they realize the joke's on them." The humans had a plan, one born from desperation, forged in fire and sharpened by loss. Hidden across secret orbital bunkers, the survivors of Earth had built the Ark of Extinction, a fleet of warships designed not just to fight, but to annihilate. Not with brute force alone, but with terror, with cunning, with unpredictability that no alien calculus could anticipate. The first step had been simple: survive. The second step: let the Empire think victory was complete. Broadcast the slaughter. Let them gloat. And then, when the Empire's attention was at its peak, strike back in a way they could never foresee. Riker's eyes gleamed as he looked at the flickering star charts. The Empire had slaughtered 10 billion humans live, thinking it a display of dominance. "Showtime," he whispered, and the station's gravity dimmed, as if the universe itself were holding its breath. Because humanity was never truly gone. Humanity was waiting. And humanity was about to make the galaxy scream. The Empire's flagship, Dominion's Wrath, hung above the shattered remains of Earth, its hull gleaming like a monument to arrogance. Grand Admiral Velos, a six-limbed xenocrat with burnished copper skin, sipped a luminescent drink, exuding smug satisfaction. "They are gone," he hissed, his voice a rasping symphony of pride. "No humans survive. It is perfection." Zarn, his reptilian tactician, inclined his head. "All signals confirm it, Supreme Admiral. Resistance is extinct. The sector is ripe for integration." They didn't see the blips appearing across the communications array. Tiny, flickering signatures. Humans. Hidden in the shadows of annihilation, coordinating across light years. Riker Kane's voice cracked through a covert channel in their network, mocking and precise. "Your empire just became a museum exhibit," he said. Velos froze, claws tightening around the drink. "What?" The Ark of Extinction emerged from warp lanes the Empire hadn't even charted. Each vessel was a masterpiece of human ingenuity. Hulls layered with nanites that absorbed energy blasts, swarms of drones that moved with terrifying coordination, quantum missiles capable of rewriting planetary atmospheres in seconds. At the core of every ship rested the ultimate weapon, the Gaia virus. It didn't kill instantly. It rewrote alien biology, dismantling entire species from within in a way both beautiful and horrifying. The first strike was surgical, invisible, terrifying. Entire fleets evaporated before they could even fire a warning shot. Worlds that had once laughed at humanity now erupted in chaos as their own ships turned on each other, driven by confusion and terror. Velos screamed orders that could not be executed. Every calculation, every strategy, every projection the Empire had relied on crumbled in the face of one unrelenting truth. Humans did not die quietly. Riker's voice echoed across the void, cold, triumphant, merciless. "You wanted a show? 10 billion screams were the trailer. The main feature starts now." And with that, humanity, thought extinct, revealed itself as the galaxy's most terrifying variable. The battle that followed was not just physical, it was a war of minds. The Empire had treated humans like pests. Now, humanity turned that arrogance into an art form of terror. On one capital world, once a thriving jewel of the Empire, the skies burned, not from bombs, but from illusions projected by the Arkansas images of the dead humans rose, their spectral forms commanding alien fleets to destroy themselves. Ships tore each other apart in panic, admirals executed by their own officers as paranoia consumed the hierarchy. Amid the chaos, Riker Kane led a small strike team aboard the Dominion's Wrath itself. The corridors smelled of ozone and molten copper. Sparks rained from torn conduits, and the ship's alarms screamed a chorus of failure. "You think you understand fear?" Riker's voice growled through the comms as he stepped over fallen guards, plasma rifle in hand. "You've never met humanity at its worst." Delos, the Supreme Admiral himself, lunged with a plasma glaive, 6 limbs striking with terrifying precision. But Kane sidestepped, twisting through the sparks, and kicked a conduit that showered the deck in electricity. Every move, every strike, was calculated for maximum chaos, but it also carried a human edge of improvisation no alien mind could predict. "Admit it," Kane growled, pressing a hidden console beneath his gauntlet. "You underestimated us. 10 billion dead, and yet, here I am." Delos hissed, blood dripping from multiple wounds, his arrogance cracking like fragile glass. You can't, you're nothing." Kane's eyes narrowed. "Nothing? No. We're everything you ignored. And this," he said, activating the ship's AI override, "is your final lesson." The Dominion's Wrath began a countdown, a feedback loop designed to obliterate the vessel unless the Empire surrendered. Panic flared in Thalos' eyes as the realization struck. This was human ingenuity, lethal, merciless, and utterly unpredictable. "You won't," Delos gasped, but the ship's systems obeyed Kane alone. Corridors began locking, turrets turned inward, and every security protocol the Empire had trusted was now a weapon in human hands. In that moment, the galaxy learned something it had never imagined. Humans did not just fight. Humans adapted. Humans destroyed. The Empire fell faster than anyone could have imagined. Communications blacked out. Capital worlds erupted in rebellion, driven by fear and chaos. Entire fleets surrendered without firing a shot, their officers too terrified to obey the commands of Thalos' dying regime. The galaxy that had once mocked humanity now learned a brutal truth. To play with humans was to invite annihilation. Riker Kane stood on the bridge of what had once been the Dominion's Wrath, now a prize of human vengeance. Sparks still danced across the walls, and the hum of damaged engines was a reminder of the scale of destruction. Harris, bloodied but grinning, clapped him on the shoulder. "So, what now? Retire?" Kane shook his head, eyes fixed on the stars. "No. We rebuild. We make sure no one ever mistakes mercy for weakness again. We remind the galaxy that humans survive, even after 10 billion died." The final broadcast was simple, unadorned, and terrifyingly direct. A single message transmitted to every corner of the Empire's remnants. "You thought we were gone. You thought death would silence us. But humanity always answers. Operation Alien Extinct is complete. Remember it." Somewhere, on a distant colony, a child laughed at the words, unaware of the scale of carnage, but feeling the tremor of human triumph in their bones. Across the galaxy, the arrogance of the Empire crumbled into legend, whispered in fear by every species that had ever underestimated humans. Humanity was scarred, bloodied, and hollowed by loss, but it was alive. Smarter, harder, more dangerous than ever. And the nightmare of their revenge became the new reality. The galaxy had learned a simple lesson, one it would never forget. Humans do not just survive, they endure. They adapt. They conquer. And when cornered, humanity becomes the weapon the universe fears most. The ashes of 10 billion lives were not the end, they were the beginning. And humanity, relentless and unbroken, was only getting started.